Hey everybody, welcome back, and today we're going to be taking on a redstone challenge. So in today's video we're going to be trying to build a 5x5 piston door with no slime blocks or anything. It's just going to be a one wide door, fully from pistons. I've never built something this big. I have done 4x4 piston doors in the past, but this should be a unique challenge, so let's get started. Alright, so here is the door, and looking at this is really big. So I guess the first thing to do would be to lay out the pistons. So these are all just going to come down one, but then we need a double piston extender to take out the second row. Probably a triple piston extender here, and then these will go up, and then another double piston extender to take these up, and then all the sides will just go either left or right. So I think this is everything. So we have the side pistons to just single extend the blocks on either side. But then we have the single extender, and then we'll have a double piston extender, a triple piston extender on the bottom. And then we have the single and double piston extender at the top. It was about here that I realized just how hard of a challenge this was actually going to be. So here's the double piston design I went with. This is a fairly standard, really quite common, but super compact design. And it's just extendable, so we can put a chain of them here. And as you can see, it works perfectly fine. So then the only problem I think we might have is moving these blocks out of the way, because when we build up the triple piston extender, it might get in the way. Alright, so I've already came into an issue I didn't even think about, but the triple piston extenders do work side by side, and this is an amazing design. I don't actually know who it's by, so if you do know this triple piston extender design, make sure to leave credit for whoever it is in the comments so I can give proper credit, but I don't actually know who designed it. But as you can see, it does work, but there's a layer of blocks right above our path. And unless I can find another design, this one's not going to work. Unless, I think I may have come up with a neat design here. So we have a row of slime blocks and two pistons here. And then when we power these, the slime blocks would retract these blocks, which are used for the triple piston extender, out of the way. So when the door is open, we have flat ground. And then when we need to use the piston extender, we can just put the blocks back in place. The next thing that we're going to do is to figure out how to remove these blocks, because our triple piston extender will bring them down, but we don't really have a way, like on either side, they're kind of just stuck there. If you can't tell already, this is turning out to be much more of a task than I thought it would be. However, after a lot of head scratching, I think I came up with a solution. Alright, so I've built up the piston framework, and it's a little bit ridiculous, but let's go through the process of how we're going to open this. First thing I noticed is that I don't have anywhere just to power this first layer of pistons to bring these blocks down. I have blocks literally on every single side, so what we're actually going to do is push them up out of the way near the top, and we're going to ignore them for now. So now we have this second layer here, and we're just going to retract that with the double piston extender. Now if we want to fire the triple piston extender, we need to move these out of the way. And to do that, we have these side pistons, and we can just take these blocks out of the way. So once we've gotten our triple piston extender clear to fire, we can activate that, and that's going to bring down the second layer of blocks there. And then we have to get these out of the way, because once again, we're going to be using the triple piston extender. But first, we have to actually bring this down one layer. So by pressing this lever, we can bring that down, and then we have space for the triple piston extender to take our third row of blocks. Now, once we get here, we don't need to bring these out of the way, because the top part can deal with these last two rows. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is just bring the blocks up, bring them out of the way, and then activate our double piston extender. We are off to a good start. So with the click of this button, I've made a little bit of a circuit here so that we'll get two pulses into the double piston extender. So as you can, let's not do that. So as you can see, the first one will push them up, and then it will activate again to bring the blocks down. And the way that this happens is we've created a bit of a falling edge monostable circuit, which is just a fancy way of saying a super short output on the latter half of the button press. Alright, so I've been at this for quite some time, and there's a lot of redstone going on. So when we click this button, the blocks get pushed up, taken back down, and as you can see, the whole first layer here is completely retracted and out of the way, ready for our triple piston extender to come up to take this next layer out of the way. So it was here that I realized I made quite the ridiculous overlook, but let me try to explain. So when we click this button, the blocks get pushed up, the first row comes down, it gets put away, makes room for the triple piston extender to extend, which is all good. But then it's at this point here. What I had planned is to move these blocks out of the way down into this section here, and then have these pistons push these blocks down one like this, and then have the triple piston extender come and take these blocks. But that was a completely unnecessary step, because in this state right here, all we have to do, take these pistons away, extend that up, retract these back, and then just activate the double piston extender, which these need to be activated first, and there we go. So I added in a whole extra step, which is good news because it makes things a lot simpler now, but a lot of this redstone isn't actually needed. Alright, and that has come along surprisingly well. I think it's probably because the circuitry up here is a lot easier, a lot more simple. So if we click this button, as you can see, everything gets retracted really quite fast. So now we just need to hook up the bottom part to the top. But that was harder than it seemed, so here's a compilation of all the times that I messed up. So let's give it a try. Alright, so here's the first part, which we know works. Oh, no. Okay, this isn't looking good. No. Oh my goodness. But then finally, if we give this a test, alright, everything's looking good so far. The bottom's been taken away there, so our triple piston extender can come up, and yes! Okay, ignore that high-pitched scream, but it finally worked. So the last part here for the opening is this. And so if you remember from the beginning, these blocks are for the triple piston extender, but they're in the way of where we would walk through the door. So we're just gonna have to bring those down. Shouldn't be too hard. Alright, and with the help of a little bit of extra circuitry at the back here, this should be good to go. So if we press this button, we should see everything completely open up, and we should be able to walk right on through. Alright, so everything is still opening up fine. And there we go! Alright, so we have completed the full opening of the 5x5 piston door. So for the closing, it was just some rewiring of circuits, but here's a quick mini montage of that process. So with these three blue circuits here that I added in, we should have the bottom part of the closing done. You can see that the two blocks from here have been extended into here. So then all we have to do is activate this piston so that all our blocks are in the line there. And then all we have to do is bring these blocks down. And then we just have to bring our little slime contraption here, which allows the triple piston extender to actually work, so then we can use it for the opening once again. So we would go like that. So with the help of some messy circuitry here, if we press this button, all the bottom blocks should be extended upwards. And ladies and gentlemen, that is actually all it. So I believe I should be all done now. Everything should be hooked up. all the circuits together, and I brought up the line to this button, so let's give this a try. Alright, this is looking good. This is looking good. Alright. And there we have it. So that is the opening, and if we press this button, we should see that everything closes up. And there we go. Alright. So there. So it's not exactly a small contraption, and it's definitely not the fastest. But for a first prototype version, I think that this could be counted as a success. Alright, and that's going to do it for this video. So I really did hope that you enjoyed, maybe learned something new, and I'll see you in the next one.